Welcome back to English 4.0, the radio show. Let's go! Advanced. Hello and welcome to the program. Welcome to Advanced class number 177. Moving along, as always, through the material, but getting started today with a little review of yesterday, back in class 176. We were looking at two phrasal verbs, to speed up, which is essentially to accelerate, acelerar, to go faster, to go increasingly faster, and the opposite, to slow down. So when you're in your car, when you're stopped at the traffic lights, we say, we're stopped at the lights, at the intersection, and the light turns green, you hit the gas, we say, you press on the accelerator. We often say you hit the gas, and your car accelerates, it speeds up. Yeah. So a lot of sports cars are assessed on their ability to speed up and to accelerate and how fast they can reach, for example, 60 miles per hour or 100 kilometers per hour. How fast can they accelerate to that speed? So the idea of accelerating is to speed up. And the opposite, to slow down. Of course, when people see the police coming, they often slow down. They slow down because they don't want to get a speeding ticket. They don't want to get a fine. We typically say a speeding ticket. So to slow down. Now, of course, I can slow down when I'm speaking. I have to slow down in the advanced portion. In the beginner portion of the class, but I can speed up a little bit here in the advanced portion of the class. Do you think I should speed up even more? Would it be more challenging? I don't know. I think this is a good pace for the advanced students. I think it's important to pronounce the words clearly, to articulate my words on the radio. But speaking fast isn't necessarily, speaking fast has nothing to do with speaking good. If you look at a lot of the great speakers, if you listen to, for example, Barack Obama, who speaks very well, he doesn't speak fast, but he speaks with confidence. But no, I speak at a normal pace in this advanced portion, but I do have to slow down. I slow down. So speed up, slow down. We don't say fast up or anything like that. To speed up, to go faster. All right. Now, we looked at something very interesting and kind of fun in the last class, possessive pronouns, and we had some sentences. For example, we saw the sentence, quiero que me des el tuyo porque ella me dio el suyo y está roto. Now, how would you say that in English? Quiero que me des el tuyo porque ella me dio el suyo y está roto. I want you to give me yours because she gave me hers and it's broken. I want you to give me yours because she gave me hers and it's broken. Then we saw the sentence, le di el de ella porque el suyo estaba con el de ellos en el cajón. I gave him hers because his was with theirs in the drawer. I gave him hers because his was with theirs in the drawer. All right, let's try another one. Guardan su libro donde antes guardábamos el nuestro. They keep their book where we used to keep ours. Donde antes guardábamos el nuestro, where we used to keep ours. Remember, used to plus infinitive is for the past form, where we used to keep ours. guardas tu libro donde yo antes guardaba el mío. You keep, en voz alta, you keep your book where I used to keep mine. La de ellos es la que sigue perdida. Theirs is the one that's still lost. It's still lost. Que sigue perdida todavía. It's still lost. Theirs is the one that's still lost. Let's try another one here. Ella me los dio porque eran míos. Okay. She gave them to me because they were mine. Good, I hope you got that right. She gave them to me because they were mine. Él nos va a prestar el suyo hasta que el nuestro esté reparado. Prestar. Remember, to lend. He's going to lend us his until ours is repaired. He is going to lend us his until ours is repaired. All right. Let's try one more. Le gusta a ella. Le gusta el suyo porque le ayuda. She likes hers because it helps her. She likes hers because it helps her. All right. Good. Now, I hope you did well on that. Very interesting. Nice to practice with those possessive pronouns. Let's move on now and take a look at our expression of the day. Expression of the day. All right, our expression of the day is a bit of a business term, in fact. Our term today, our expression is seed money. Seed. Semilla. Seed. Seed money. Now, seed money is money that you need to start a business. It's the little bit of money that you use as an initial investment into your business. So if you're going to start a restaurant, you need a certain amount of money to get the property, to rent the property, let's say, or buy. But let's say you're renting the property and pay for the initial staff, all the fees of setting up the business, the restaurant staff, the tables, the plates, the ingredients, the food, all the things that you need all the costs associated with that would be covered in what you call seed money. So very often seed money, maybe it comes from investors, or it very often comes from family. People often ask their family members for seed money. If you have a brother who has money, you could say, hey, look, could you lend me some seed money for this business that I'm starting? Seed money, we say, which makes sense. Imagine the business is a plant and the seed money. We need to just plant that little seed, and hopefully it will grow into something much bigger, much more valuable, much more substantial. But it all starts with that seed money. All right, now we've seen that expression, so we can move on now into class number 177, practicing with one of my favorite exercises. This is, once again, the Mastering the Interrogative. This is the drill where I give you the answer to a question, and I'd like you to ask me the question that I've already answered. So, for example, I will say, it's on the table. And you say, where is it? Okay, but now we're going to practice with the question word, who. Okay? So first we have, I met John in the office last week. Who did you meet in the office last week? I met John. Who did you meet? Who did you meet? I was talking to Natasha when my phone rang. Who were you talking to when your phone rang? My brother fixed the copier. Who fixed the copier? Who fixed the copier? So here we see something that very often occurs with questions with who, where who represents our subject. So in this case, we do not need an auxiliary verb, okay? My brother fixed the copier. Who fixed the copier? Who is my brother, which is the subject, so we don't need an auxiliary verb. This often happens, this typically happens with question words with who, but it also happens sometimes with what. Like, what caused the fire? We don't have to say what did cause, okay? Who or what in these cases represent our subject, okay? So another one, David asked for help with the installation. Who asked for help with the installation? No, David. Who asked for help with the installation? David did. The two sisters were talking when the priest came in. Who was talking when the priest came in? Who was talking? All right, I'm leaving you a little space there, a little bit of time to give me the question. The two sisters were talking, so who was talking? They wanted to speak to Fitz. Who did they want to speak to? Okay, Stephen is going to repair it. Stephen. Who is going to repair it? Who's going to repair it? Oh, Stephen is. Layla found the best solution. Who found the best solution? Who found the best solution? Layla did. Layla found the best solution. I thought about my mother when I saw the movie. Who did you think about when you saw the movie? Who did you think about when you saw the movie? All right. Good. Let's move on now and take a look at our vocabulary of the day. Vocabulary of the day. All right, yes, it is time for our vocabulary of the day, our 5 words of vocabulary. The first word today, reacio. Reticente. This is reluctant. Reluctant. Very similar to hesitant. I'm a bit reluctant to do that right now. It could be dangerous. I'm reluctant to do it. I'm hesitant, reluctant. Ingresos. So here, ingresos, we're talking about financially, the money that comes in. This is revenue. Revenue. So we have revenue, then we have gastos, which are expenses. And revenue minus expenses equals profit. Profit, right? So not benefit, but profit. So financially, we have profit. Revenue minus expenses equals profit. Whereas benefits are essentially non-financial advantages of a situation. One of the benefits of teaching English is that I get to meet a lot of interesting people. It's one of the benefits. It's not a profit. Profit is financial, okay? Raíz. Raíz, this is root. Root. Yes, like the root of a tree. Rugoso. Áspero. Turbulento. Aproximado. Oof, a lot of words, a lot of different words, but in English we say rough. Like a surface can be rough. The ocean can be rough if I'm in a boat. Okay, here, turbulento. So, turbulent, okay, but the water was rough. For example, if I'm in my canoe paddling across the river and there are a lot of waves, the water is rough. But also, aproximado, a rough estimate, for example. Oh, I think Bruce Springsteen, I think he's roughly 60. 60 is a rough estimate, an approximate estimate, a rough estimate of his age. Rough. Aproximadamente, there we see it, roughly. Roughly, because Bruce Springsteen is roughly 60, so aproximadamente, roughly. Aproximado, rough. Okay, let's move on now and do a little review with the third conditional. This one is worth reviewing because some people find it a little bit tricky, but it's not so hard. Remember the structure. If subject had participle, would have participle. So if had, would have. If I had moved here 10 years ago, I would have lived in a different house. If I had been tall, I would have played basketball. Imagine an old man, he says, I never played. If I had been tall, I would have played. So here, let me give you some information, some cues, and you can create a sentence with a logical conclusion. I bought a new bike because my old one had broken. So you can say, if your old bike hadn't broken, you wouldn't have bought a new one. I asked for directions because I didn't know the way. If you had known the way, you wouldn't have asked for directions. That's right. If you had known the way, you wouldn't have asked for directions. Similarly, we can change the order of the condition and conditional and say, you wouldn't have asked for directions if you had known the way. Sure. I bought the book because I found the subject interesting. If you hadn't found the subject interesting, you wouldn't have bought the book. I drove there because I couldn't take the train. If you could have taken the train, you wouldn't have driven there. Drive, drove, driven. You wouldn't have driven there. She called me because she needed help. She called me because she needed help. If she hadn't needed help, she wouldn't have called you. All right. We made our own because they didn't provide us with one. If they had provided us with one, we wouldn't have made our own. If they hadn't provided us with one, we wouldn't have made our own. All right. Very good. So there we see it, the third conditional, and we'll review this again tomorrow. Don't worry, but just remember the structure. If subject had participle, would have participle. Subject would have participle, okay? If I had come to Spain earlier, I would have learned perfect Spanish, for example. Okay, I'm going to end now because we're completely out of time, but I want to thank you very much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. I hope you join me. Bye-bye.